Welcome inside our college football studios alongside Trevor Matich and Todd McShay. I'm Jamie Sire. We're going to pick some of the big matchups this weekend. We start with the marquee matchup, 8 p.m. ABC on Saturday between Notre Dame and Florida State. Who you got in that one?
I've got Notre Dame in this game.
Really?
I've got Notre Dame, yeah.
I like it.
And this is a real stretch. It's a real outlier. But the thing is, Notre Dame's defense is tremendous at bringing all kinds of crazy pressure. Their personnel is depleted because of injury and academic suspensions. But I don't think that Jameis Winston has the same kind of personnel around him to handle the pressure this year that they had last year. The protection isn't as good. The running game's not as good. And he doesn't have Kelvin Benjamin to throw the ball up for under duress. Now, assuming that Everett Golson, Notre Dame's quarterback, does not become a gushing tsunami of turnovers, I think the pressure from Notre Dame's defense makes the difference.
I agree with a lot of what you just said. And I think it's going to, first of all, the matchup that stands out to me is the wide receivers of Florida State against these defensive backs of Notre Dame. Because you know Notre Dame's going to bring pressure. They're going to be unique in how they bring pressure. And I think it's so important that Florida State's able to get off the press and get open right away, because anytime pressures come this year, they haven't relied, the Seminoles, on their offensive line. They've relied on Jameis Winston getting the ball out quickly. And so that's going to be a big key to watch. I think Florida State wins because of Jameis Winston, because of his ability to spread the ball out efficiently. And ultimately, I think the speed of Florida State's defense, which has made a lot of mistakes this year, I think the speed will be too much and will force a couple turnovers. And you can't beat a really good team like Florida State on the road if you turn the football over. And all eyes will be on that matchup for a number of reasons. Game day will be there as well. And then coming up at noon on ESPN, Kansas State and Oklahoma. Who do you got in that one? Upset special. I mean, it looks like it, right? But I'm still going to go with Oklahoma. Now, I think Oklahoma has a lot of respect for Kansas State, and it should. You go back to 2011, 9 times they have been underdogs and gone out and won, including 2 years ago at Norman. I think it's important for Oklahoma State to have respect for its opponent, because some weeks they don't show up. Like Texas last week, for some reason, they didn't play the game that they should, but I think Oklahoma's too talented in this one.
Kansas State has the greatest gift you can give to a college football team, which is make them feel disrespected. I mean, everybody's talking about TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship. Here's Kansas State sitting there. They've only got one loss, and that's to Auburn. And they almost beat them. They were one play away from beating them, but nobody's talking about Kansas State. Now, they are not as dynamic as the TCU team that beat Oklahoma, but they are more relentless than that TCU team. Having said that, I think the playmaking ability of Oklahoma does it, and I think Oklahoma squeaks it out.
All right, Texas A&M and Alabama. Texas A&M trying to avoid losing 3 in a row. We know that there's frustrations there in Tuscaloosa as well. Who do you like in this one?
Hell hath no fury like Nick Saban after a couple of disappointing weeks. They lost 2 weeks ago to Ole Miss against Arkansas. They did win the game, and Saban was all happy about that, but there were a lot of mental errors that he will be disappointed in. I think he propels his team to play their best. I think they win physically.
I'm still trying to figure out what we have in this Alabama team, how good they really can be. You look at last week, 9 of 13 opportunities with the football. They didn't get a first down or a touchdown. It's the lowest number under Nick Saban at Alabama. So they've got offensive issues. They've got special teams issues. I think the defense is getting better. I'm going to go with Alabama, but I think this is going to be a 4-quarter battle. And I think offensively they've got to show some more wrinkles, and they've got to be able to throw the football down the field more efficiently if they're going to win this one.
Another big weekend in college football. For all of your college football news, keep it here on ESPN.com.